Hey everybody, so I started recording this video and Twitter does this thing now where there's this message tab that just pops up and it shows all your DMs for no reason at all. And so I showed all my DMs, so I'm gonna re-record this one. So essentially this campaign right here, I made a video already once, I mentioned it, but it's worth going back again because salty tears are flowing right now over the success of a movie star named Keanu Reeves. Why? Because Kickstarter is for the little people. That's why. I've noticed this in comics a lot. People will set up unwritten rules of engagement, and if you cross those rules, then they have a reason to moan or cancel you, or so on and so on and so on. This is not just like a SJW thing. I see this across the spectrum all the time. It gets really old. I don't know why people do it because it just makes you look bad. If somebody's making a comic book that's very successful, that's awesome. There's a comic book that's very successful. That means there's comic readers out there. Are they competing against you and your stuff? Sure they are, but you can position yourself. You can not directly compete with them. You can launch at a different time. You can do a number of things to sort of gain a competitive advantage. But the one thing you really ought not do is try to create a competitive advantage based off of sympathy. Like you deserve it more because you're small, therefore you're more virtuous. That's not how it works. It just makes you look bad. So don't do that. All right, so we're going to get into this. And by the way, this campaign, it's going to be up there. Like I suspect that this is going to be one of the biggest crowdfunded comic books of all time based off of so far its first day, its first few hours. It's just raking in the money. So this is going to be huge. A lot of people are going to be talking about this. I just don't get why so much butthurt over it. That doesn't make sense. Before we get into the video, Fatal is on Indiegogo right now. We passed 800 backers. Thanks, everybody. If you haven't backed it yet, check it out in the link in the description below. Beautiful art, fantastic story, and just a whole lot of fun. This is everything I love about comic books, and yeah, I think you're going to dig it. All right, so getting into the first comments, this is how it starts, is people make they make comments without directly addressing it because, well, I don't know. I'm not sure why. This is Zach Thompson, who's a writer of comics, and he's also working for Boom, who should not be ignored. That Boom, their name is on this book. They're part of this project, so that's a little weird. But Zach Thompson says, putting a project that will pay for itself tenfold into Kickstarter sure is a look. Sure is a look. Not a good look is the implication there. Not a good look to make that much money on a crowdfunding campaign. That's the weirdest statement I've ever heard. Crowdfunding has changed. It's changed in every other industry. And so fighting against it right now in comics is silly. I saw the same thing in board game crowdfunding. I once did a Kickstarter campaign years ago for a trading card game, and in that game, in that culture, there were a lot of people that would say, hey, these other big board game companies are making board games and launching crowdfunding campaigns for them, and that just feels wrong and dirty because crowdfunding is supposed to be about getting money for the little guy. Well, the truth is that crowdfunding has never explicitly just been for the little guy. It's been for anybody that wants to make money, wants money to fund a project ahead of time. And the more people that are using crowdfunding sites and successfully, just not scamming people and shipping the books out, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. You've made up an unwritten rule and now you're trying to apply it to everybody. So I saw that a little bit in card games. I see it a lot in comics. All right, so some of the responses, sorry about that. Someone at some point must have said this will hurt indie creators on that platform, and they were like, F them. I disagree with that completely. Nobody said that this is going to hurt indie creators. In fact, they probably weren't even thinking about indie creators one bit when they put that on Kickstarter. You know what they are doing though? They're driving traffic to Kickstarter. They're introducing new people that have never backed a crowdfunding campaign to a crowdfunding site. That is a big deal. You absolutely want that to happen because most people out there think that Kickstarter is some kind of scam or it's e-begging. So if they back Keanu Reeves' book and that's the first book that they back, they are more likely to back your book. So you ought to be actually happy about this. Okay, I think the exact opposite. More people that come for a bigger name project are a better chance to go see the other stuff there. Yeah, this guy gets it. I guess, I guess it's one of the two, or it could be somewhere in between. Why does that have to be so binary? Well, I guess it could be one of the two. All I can say is I'm glad I'm not running a comic Kickstarter right now because I know folks have limited money and ability to back projects. Again, the argument being, oh, well, this one is just too great. And so no one's going to back these little projects. It's not a comic book shop that people are just browsing. There are some number of people that go in and browse. Generally speaking, they're sending the crowd to crowdfunding. That's how it works. It's not just an open store. You are actually sending people there. So a small indie creator, I highly doubt they're getting any fewer backers than they would otherwise. In fact, they're probably just getting more eyes and more marketing to people that they wouldn't. So this is just not true. Um, okay, so yeah, lots of disagreements. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so here's another one from 215 Inc. This is a small press publisher that likes to virtue signal about hating Nazis. We've covered them in the past. All right, so they say, I mean, we're avoiding using Kickstarter because we don't love the optics of it. Talk about tone deaf and kind of crappy. Um, you are a small press publisher who has fewer Twitter followers than I do. I'm a small press publisher, I guess, then, in that degree. It's not a bad look to use Kickstarter. Why would you even say such a thing? Again, these are trying to hold people accountable to these rules, and then you want to be patted on the back for holding yourself to these rules. Are you making money? Are you paying people? Because I guarantee you that this campaign is paying people. I'm not interested in backing it myself. I don't care. I think it's notable because I'm interested in crowdfunding, but it doesn't hurt anybody else's chances. This is the silliest, most defeatist thinking I've ever seen. All right, here's another one. Well, with Boom doing a Kickstarter like they're not a massive company with a huge pre-existing following and Netflix deals, it's a great time to remind everyone I was paid $20 US per inked page during my run on Giant Days. 20. So looking the problem here is not how much an individual is making. The problem is a large dollar amount. Maybe if you saw the sales of this book, I've never heard of, I don't know. Maybe it seems like an awfully big price to you. It doesn't mean that everyone's lining their pockets. It means that a lot of people are getting paid to make something. So someone had to ink this. Someone had to do the art. It wasn't you. The other thing is, if you agree to ink a book for $20 a page, then you ought to get paid $20 a page. If that's too little, then don't take the job. It's that simple. It really is. The other thing is, Boom is not a huge company. It's grown a lot. They're doing, as far as comic book publishers are, I think they're doing just fine. But in this case, they're not a huge company. Like, let's say Marvel did one. I still don't have a problem. You're not too big to crowdfund. It's going to send more people to crowdfunding. Celebrities are welcome to come too. Regardless, you're going to have to bring your own audience. It really doesn't matter. Why is everyone so butthurt over this? It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to continue here. I'm so furious. 4 years I spent doing everything you could imagine under the sun, comics wise, for that company, making raisins, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. Calculations. I'm disgusted. Um, they're paying for it. Essentially, these are pre-sales. That's what's happened here. So, gosh, it's it's not more noble to pre-fund or pay for your own book. I'm gonna be doing this myself to some degree, paying up front, or at least for part of books. You know what I mean? Up front, just to get things rolling. Maybe they've done that too, but crowdfunding is still a great way to sell a book. That's all it comes down to. When they offered me $20 a page over Easter weekend to do half an issue of Pickup Inks on Street because their inker was having problems with the RSI, wonder why, I ended my relationship with them, but they just kept putting their foot in. They kept offering work. You could have counter offered or turned it down. Sounds like you turned it down. Um, I just don't understand that. All right, here's another one from Christopher Selba. These are all blue check marks too, by the way. Four-time Eisner nominee. Surely he wouldn't be into crowdfunding because he's made it. If a publisher won't invest the money in a book by one of the biggest movie stars going right now, imagine how little they'll invest in a book by a creator trying to make a name. Here's the thing. Why would you invest your own money from a business perspective? Why would you invest your own money if you could get customers to buy the thing first and then you could use their money so you're not in the hole? You could already be profitable. That's unheard of in comics. It's one of the biggest hurdles in making a new comic or trying out a new artist or anything like that. It's one of the biggest hurdles is the money that you have to pay up front, and crowdfunding solves that problem. This is great for literally everyone involved, including small creators. This is not a bad thing at all. This is great. Uh, and I got to say, just personally for crowdfunding, as a small creator, I would not have been able to make books, funding it myself. I would not have been able to do that. Crowdfunding enabled me to do that. And now that I understand how it works and I can make it work for me, now I have the opportunity again to take a little bit more risk. It lessens the risk that you can take. So kudos to Boom for launching this crowdfunding campaign or not. It doesn't matter. It's their business decision. It literally hurts nobody. So I don't understand why all the saltiness, but I guess it's there anyway. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Why are people so upset about this? If you can think of a single way how this actually hurts a small creator somewhere, let me know in the comments. And let's see, don't forget to check out Fatal on Indiegogo right now. I have imagined that Berserker is not at all touching backer numbers there, so I'm not worried about it. So thanks very much, and I'll see you. I might do a live stream tonight, actually. So I'll probably see you then. Thanks. Bye.